Rock geishas.
Every night,
rock
different
geishas.
boys. Every night,
so I just
want to
make piggies and leave.
So I just want to make piggies and leave. I didn't want to get stuck in the house.
No, it was the phase of the moon. I figured the first quarter of the moon, that's my time. I go to the seat and hang on the wall. First quarter of the moon.
That's all they want. They build up a whole conversation the whole night, and the end, all they want is a fuck.
Well, that's all the girls want, too.
I don't. I can get into somebody mentally.
In our little establishment of our own. I mean, that's, you know, that's a cool thing to do, man, to have some pop stars, baby.
Mentally. Mentally.
They'll milk the road manager from Buck Group.
Oh, he's violent, too. Black and blue from him.
Oh, she's so sore. She showed it to me.
I'm black and blue.
That boy's evil.
To every group, there's like 20 chicks, and everyone's jumping them. And each chick wants to be around, right? And the way to do that is by being the freakiest.
And they decided to try something new.
Try something new. So he stuck a sausage up her.
And then they stuck it back in the refrigerator.
And then they put a cucumber, and they put a... What else? They put something else. It's really killing me.
Pickle.
A pickle.
Pickle, cucumbers, and sausages.
I don't know what this girl's made of.
Root.
Yeah, it was the same girls, but the different boys. It was a goof. It was like the repeat of the next night.
It's sick establishment. All this anti-establishment has led to an establishment of its own, with its own groupies, with its own leaders.
They got out of the car and grabbed her in the car, and she went with them, and they had a freak scene. You know what they did to her?
What did they do to her?
30 people, and they all balled her.
30 people.
They all did, and they made her take a bath in front of them. They all jumped in and did perverted things to her. I remember, how about Karen at Iona's house, how he came in, made them all strip, and made Karen give Troy head. Very sick people. But every time I go into a hotel room, she's there. Running around with a blanket wrapped
What can she do? She's
it's the only way she'll be happy.
Running around a blanket around her.
And I walked in the room and she was right in the middle. right there. You know, like that really disgusted me to see a girl doing that. And I thought of myself, you know.
Yeah.
You can't just screw up your life.
Otherwise they'll really drag you to the mud.
Of course they will. You become a whore. That's how it starts.
These chicks really believe that they're going to meet their, you know, great Prince Charming, who plays fabulous guitar, and he's going to take them away and marry him. And it's really a drag because these cats don't think that way.
It was like a drug. I just had to have it. It was unbelievable. And I kept saying no, because I was fighting with myself. I said, I'm not going to go back to him because I love Keith, and he's going to find out about it, which he did. And I kept saying no. I said, no, I'm not going home with you. And I left. And he left, too. And I was up waiting for a taxi, and he was halfway down the block, and he turned around and he came back, and he said, you know what you did to me? You messed up my whole mind, you know. And there he was going home alone. And he looked so pitiful, and my heart just went out to him. I just couldn't fight it any longer. So I went home with him. Afterwards, I was so upset because I realized it wasn't Keith. And I yelled at him, and I said, I hate you, and this is not going to happen again. I'm not going to come down tomorrow night. I don't want to see you. I hate you. And this is terrible. I'm leaving right now. You know, don't you dare say a word. And I said, you're not like Keith at all. You know, you're not even 1/5 of him. And I stormed out. And then the next night, it all happened again. I just couldn't help myself. And then he kept wanting me to stay over. And I couldn't. And then finally, I just couldn't stay away from him.
She said to Dennis, they're a light show man. I said, what sign are you? And he said something like Scorpio or Sagittarius. I said, oh, I bet you'd be a good fuck. And guess what? She went home with him that night. And I came in the next morning, and she was sitting on the bed in front of everybody, bawling him to death.
In front of everybody?
In front of everybody. These girls, they have no pride.
Maybe that's what the age of Aquarius really means.
That's what it is. That's just
love
what they
will rule
say.
the world. They don't mean just love
you.
with the opposite sex, but also with the same sex.
But I myself love pop music. I love it. It's my life, music. You know, whenever I work, it's in and around the music business. My stereo man is my number one high.
I need music.
I
come home at night, I turn on the radio. If I'm in a car, I turn on the radio. If I go somewhere, there has to be music playing.
Has to be music, definitely.
I do things better with music playing. Everything went faster with music.
It's the same scene wherever you go.
No, it's better when a group isn't playing, because then you can't, it's not like you're just running after them because they played and you heard them and you know, you're worshiping them because they're in a group. They're just there and you're there, and you're two people. It's like you met in the library.
How about when you get stoned and don't you get very aggressive?
Oh, yeah. So I never have problems getting money. There's always somebody who likes to give me a few dollars, pay my phone bill, take me out to eat, and buy me a stamp. There's a lot of men around that are just dying to give girls money. For nothing, you know. Come out to eat with me. They just want a pretty girl as their friend. And they really do. And I don't know what I'd do without them. Eventually I'm going to get married. And I guess it'll have to be a normal life. How many people have funny lives after they get married? But I still want to travel around. That's why I want to marry somebody who's rich. Not really. I really don't want to marry a millionaire. I want to be the millionaire. That's why I have to get discovered. So, and then we could just do things and travel around and not have to be tied down to one place. And I want lots of kids. I want 9 kids. Because I was the only child. And I want to sit down in the morning at the dinner or the breakfast table and have all these kids around me. And I can just sit at the head of the table. And my husband will be at the other end. And there'll be all the kids in between.
She got the prize.
Yeah, she got
the real prize.
Yeah, now she's with the leader.
The
Before
leaders.
it was the roadies.
Well, they make a good couple. They're both groupies.
No, get to marry.
But how could you marry one? Because they'll never be faithful to you.
I don't think she's pretty. I don't know.
Yeah, she used to hang on the wall, too, at
Of
one
course,
time.
they all did.
See, if you hang on the
it
wall
does pay
long
off
enough,
being
it
groupie.
pays off.
It does.
It's nice to be seen with, like, a big celebrity.
It's nice
But
to go
that's
home
not
with them
the
the
whole
next day.
thing.
They stay with you. Is a big thing if they stay with you the next day. It means they might even like you. Nobody'd go there if the girls weren't there, because the girls make the whole scene,
Yeah,
right?
groups just go there to pick up girls.
Because if they didn't have, like, let's say
And
the
that's the
regular
attraction
girls,
there, the
Karen,
groups.
the ugly groupies. Well, they can't even be called groupies, but they're just the plain ugly girls that go there. No group's gonna go there. They're gonna come down and see these girls. They're gonna leave. They come down, let's say us or some of the pretty ones. They'll stay. You know, these girls make the place.
He was so out of it. I was so really, really out of it that we had to prop him up against the wall so that he wouldn't like fall down on the ground. He couldn't even walk. And it was really awful, man, to see a cat who had all the power and who had really had obtained the ultimate in the music business.
These old groupies are really gross.
Ugly. They're ugly and gross.
How can you do that when you're 25?
Now that I'm older and I'm involved in other things, you know, I don't go down, I don't hang out as much as I do, but when I do, it's really amazing, man, when I see the chicks that have, like, moved in and, like, second generation groupies, and they're 15-year-old chicks.
The chicks that we all knew were groovy chicks. They were all beautiful looking. They all had something going for them, you know, aside, because to keep the guys interested, I mean, you can't just be crummy because they'll sleep with you and then, you know, throw you out. They don't care
You
very
have to have
much.
a riff, a
Yeah,
gimmick.
You gotta have your gimmick, man, whether it's sexual, vocal, or whatever. You gotta have something.
It's a whorehouse. That's all it is. It's a hotel for unwed mothers.
The magic is getting so stale.
But there's so much money.
Monterey was incredible. Everyone was there. It was like a groupie's paradise. All the head groupies were there from all over the world, flown in for the occasion. All the groups were there. All the drugs were there. It was just like 3 days of pack everything in that you could possibly want in your life. You know, you were going to die afterwards. Everyone was totally freaked out. There were a complex of hotels going down this big street, the main street in Monterey. And you could see people just moving up and down. Everyone would just trade off and on. It was really freaky.
Shit, and I had the mumps.
Did you ever see the girls fly by night at the scene, the freaks?
And they're all over each other.
Yeah, they kiss each other. You walk into the bathroom, they all ask, do you have any drugs and this and that. Go into the bathroom, and you see them going to the toilet together. Now you wonder. And then they come out with their arms around each other, kissing and holding each other's bodies. And they all go home together. They all sleep and live together. 3 or 4 of them at a time. In a
Yeah, if they
small
don't go
place.
home with the boy,
They don't go home with the boy,
each
they go
other.
home with the girl. I guess they're both. But I think they prefer girls more because they're always around each other.
Who was it that was spraying that
They were
feminine
they were
spray
spraying,
on each other in
vaginal
the bathroom?
stuff. Spray.
In the ladies' room. And they went into the little compartment, and you could see them picking up their skirts, and they sprayed each other with it. There's about 50
Group.
of
It's
them.
in your head.
And one block.
It's addicting, really. Once you
Because
start, you
there's
can't
a
stop.
bunch of dodos around. That's the only people you can really communicate. I like long hair.
I love long hair,
And where are you
too.
going to find it except in a group? And the cutest boys are in a group.
And they're most experienced.
So that's it. Groupie.
Of course. I don't think there's one group in New York that hasn't come in that I haven't met. I mean, it's getting to a point where I want something different. I don't know. I want something different. I want to take it easy and let things ride.
I want to join the Peace Corps.
You cater to them and you wash their clothes. I
I
washed
never
his
did that.
underwear and his this, and I took care of him. Because I cared.
Everyone's always over their house, you know, eating, sleeping over, whatever. That's the only way they can hold them.
Having their laundry done.
Yeah.
And they were groovy for the night, and then we would have kicked them out the next morning.
Mm. Yeah, that's the hard part, deciding what to do with them the next day.
Nah, you don't want to be with them.
Yeah,
What's
because
to
you
do
have
with
things
them?
to do, or you want to go somewhere.
I've got better things to do than be with them.
And you have
I've
to
got my
feed
own
'em.
life. I got to feed them. If they take you, they've got to feed you.
And they'd have like 20 chicks living with them. Each one would have a harem with their
What's
babies.
a teenage boy's
With-
dream?
Right. But it's such a weird thing. And all these chicks would be so happy. They'd be like sisters. You know, everyone would be cooking big things, you know, and who's taking a turn sleeping with Peter tonight.
But how many musicians are really going to marry virgins? Where are they going to find them?
She went from one bed to the other.
She went from one bed to the
other. There was 3 of them in one room. She was in each bed. She was in each bed and bawled each one of them.
I wonder how many times she's been diseased.
I balled him and I balled him. Oh, you balled him? Yeah, I balled him too. No kidding. He was really a drag.
You notice how whenever you go back with a group or something and it's late at night, you always get to watch the Late Late Show too.
We didn't do anything, really. I wouldn't do it.
I mean, there's 4 of them in one room.
Everybody's in a group now, nowadays.
Hmm.
It's the only thing to be, I guess.
Well, I'm not planning to get married for a long time.
I'm not either. I've got my life to live. I've got more chasing to do and more running around and
So I'll
more
any
clubs
cute
to
boy
go.
I
more...
see, I'll make piggies with them.
Of course you will. She's young.
So if that makes me a groupie, then I'm a groupie.